The customer's got to get the no off their chest. They've got to do that. Don't fight the no. Oh, no problem. No problem. That's one of my biggest lines in F&I. Mr. Customer, no problem. I don't want any of that. No problem. My only job now is to explain everything to you, be sure you understand it. And this is a mandatory disclosure required by the Federal Trade Commission. And no problem. All these items, are, as I mentioned previously, are completely optional. My only job now is sign waivers, releases, and hold harmless agreements on those items that you have decided not to purchase and you've agreed to self-insure. Now that word track, you notice I've said it a number of different ways. It's conversation, it's not memorization. Conversation. I'm talking with the people. I'm not talking at the people. So, Mr. Customer, guaranteed asset protection. You've decided not to purchase that. Is there anything I could explain to you before we sign off and move on? It's a point of purchase item. You can't come back and buy it at a later time. Now listen to the word track I'm about to say. This is the sincerity word track that really sells a lot of F&I for me, not just GAAP, but just about anything. Mr. Customer, if you were one of my personal relatives, I would never let you leave here without purchasing this product. I believe in it, you need it, and I'm going to make an aggressive effort to sell it to you. Now listen to that. I just said I'm going to put the pressure on. But I said it in such a nice way that I'm doing it for their benefit. Mr. Customer, if you were one of my personal relatives, I would never allow you to leave here without purchasing this. I've seen it do too many good things for too many people. I've seen it save people from their lives being totally disrupted by a catastrophic amount coming at them at a time that they weren't prepared for. Mr. Customer, if you were one of my personal relatives, I would never allow you to leave here without purchasing this. How strong is that statement? That's an incredible statement. And then listen to what I back it up with. I believe in it. You need it. And if I have any opportunity, I'm going to make an aggressive effort to sell it to you. They can't argue with that because you just said, I'm doing this for your benefit. I'm making an aggressive effort to sell it to you because I believe in it, you need it, and if you were one of my relatives, I'd never allow you to leave here without it. So when you have the waiver and disclosure, like I'm saying right now, it gives you the opportunity to sell. Because when I was presenting the menu, I was only picking the low-hanging fruit. There's a number of customers that would buy a service contract if you just shut the hell up. You don't have to sell it to them. But the way you're doing it now, you've got 7 or 8 minutes explaining the service contract when you really don't need to do that. So the menu identifies what they will not buy and what's going to require a sales presentation. I hope everybody got that. When I present the menu, detached indifference. I don't care if you buy any of this. But when I come to the waivers and disclosures, Mr. Customer, if you were one of my personal relatives, I'd never allow you to leave here without this. I believe in it. You need it. And if I get any opportunity at all, make an aggressive effort to sell it to you. That is so strong. So I got declined all the waivers. That is my presentation on the waivers. That comes after the menu. And you got to have some sort of a form. Now, my form, and I'm going to put this up online, is called the TILA form, the Truth in Lending Act. And it's got some pretty good wording here, and I have it made up in 3-part self-carboning. So what I can do is I can give the customer a copy in their paperwork copy and a copy in their personal file, and I have a copy. So in their dealership folder, they've got a copy. The customer has a copy in their paperwork of the waiver releases they signed. Very important that you do that, and that's where I sell. And remember, selling is persuasion and finesse. Don't hammer the people. You got to like your customers. And if you like them, it'll come through. This is an adversarial relationship. I believe in it. You need it. If you give me any opportunity at all, I'm going to make an aggressive effort to sell it to you. If you were one of my personal relatives, you'd never leave here without this. I believe in it. You need it. Any opportunity, I'll make an aggressive effort to sell it to you. Get that where you can say it backwards and forwards, where it becomes an engrammatic response. In some of my management seminars, I ask people, do you know what an engram is? And people look like, what an engram? I don't know what an engram is. Well, an engram is a memorized response. Now, when you drove here this morning or wherever you are, I bet you put your foot on the brake a number of times. I'll bet you hit that brake pedal 100, 200 times driving from here to the shopping mall. At any time when you were driving your car, did you tell yourself, I better put my foot on the brake? Did you even think about it? No, you didn't. When you needed to stop, the red light, stop sign, car in front of you, stop, your foot just automatically went up there. You don't need to think about it. When you turned, you put the turn signal on. I bet you didn't think about it. Your hand just went up there and slapped the turn signal. When you first learned to drive, though, however, you had to think, I better put the turn signal on. I better put my foot on the brake. I better look both ways. You were telling yourself to do things, but then you did it so many times, it became engrammatic, a pre-programmed response. Like a karate fighter, block the punch, block the punch. If you had to stop and think, block the, you'd already be hit. That customer throws a certain punch, you got to throw the certain block. It's engrammatic. Wax on, wax off, who knows? So I learn F&I by engrammatic response. The customer says this, I say that. I don't need to think about it. I am so well seated in my word tracks and my processes that I never need to think about it. Just a tip from the Alpha Dog.